video, we help the Corvette breathe a little bit better. Let's do it. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be focusing on the C7 Stingray once again. We're going to be doing a little bit of a performance modification, and it's a very common modification: cold air intake. So what we have here is the green high performance cold air intake for the LT1 engine. If you're familiar with the C7 and other Corvette C5, C6, you'll know that green performance, they are very popular with having OEM replacement high performance filters. This is actually their full cold air intake system though. So we're going to be uninstalling the factory intake system and replacing it with this one. And for you guys who don't know, this is my 2016 C7 Corvette Z51 package, not a Z06, just regular Stingray. So when I purchased this, went ahead and looked on YouTube. Haven't really seen many other videos regarding the full cold air intake, no other reviews. It didn't really specify when I purchased this if it was for a LT1 engine or the LT4. So obviously this is the box it ships in. Let's have a good look around here. Increased horsepower, throttle, better airflow. It's got a little thing right there about flowing capabilities of the filter. And this is what you actually get here. You get the green filter, intake tube, and a little intake housing. Then cool little truck on that side. American made, always pretty sweet. So I've always been kind of skeptical when installing these cold air intakes if it actually does improve performance or not. Because I mean, let's be honest, with modern cars nowadays, the engines are designed pretty efficiently. The intake systems that come out on cars nowadays, they definitely are, you know, they're at the limit of creating peak performance as it is. So really, I've always been under the impression, for newer modern cars anyway, going and switching out the intake system, you're really just kind of creating a little bit more noise. So you'll get the intake noise, which is kind of cool. Are you really going to be getting any performance? That's kind of debatable. It depends who you ask. You can ask 10 different people, you get 10 different opinions on it. So I've always been a skeptic, but if it does create any sort of performance gain, or even if it just allows for the engine to breathe a little bit better, that's pretty sweet. Okay, so we got the old intake out here. I didn't film any of that. This wasn't really going to be a install tutorial video. There's plenty of videos on YouTube already installing intakes on Corvettes, so you could watch one of those. This is more or less just highlighting the green filter, or the green cold air filter, whatever the fuck it's called. But yeah, you can see here, stock filter, stock air box, stock intake tube, and then you can see here, these are the two overflow lines. This is the hard line, this is the flexible one that you have to remove to go ahead and install the aftermarket intake. And if we go ahead, look over here, you see that it's nicely installed. New green filter over here. The new intake tube that you can see right here. You can see right there. I don't know if you can or not, but it says green performance right there, kind of cool. Good quality. And then you can see the lines here that we've had to more or less switch out. The only thing I will say that I didn't really like about installing this whole thing is that you kind of have to cut into one of the lines and then tee into it. I wasn't too stoked about that, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. You can see down here, it runs up, then over here to the overflow. So you basically just have to tee it into over here. This is the overflow tubing. So it's not a big deal, but you do have to do that with this intake system. I believe the AFE intake, you don't have to do that. You just kind of have to reroute some of the lines. But yeah, you can see here, filter looks pretty good. The only thing I really have to say that I don't like, you know, besides that, is that there is a lot of tension on this mass airflow sensor, and you can kind of see here that it's starting to almost kind of pull it away. I don't really like that. So yeah, I don't like that at all. Look at that. There's a lot of tension on that. And you can see here, it's already starting to more or less pull it apart. So yep, there you go. I'll go ahead and start it up so you can hear it. It does sound a little bit better. As far as performance goes, you're really not going to tell a difference. It's an intake. But yeah, let me go ahead and start this up for you. Also want to mention that you do get this intake housing here. You got to kind of just put like this little gasket rubber shit on there. You put it on here, and then you put it around the actual intake tube itself. And then when you close the hood, it kind of seats on there really nice. So really, it's just bolting it on there. It's super simple. It's an intake. You undo the couplers there, pull everything out, install the new one, take out the stock air box, put this one in here, put the filter on, tighten down the filter, run your line. You just cut the line, and then you feed this new PCV line directly over here to the overflow. Super simple. Alright guys, so I never lie to you all. I keep it real 100% of the time. So today's not going to be the day that I start lying to you. I've actually had this intake installed on this car for, I would say, about 3 years. It was one of the first things I actually did with the Corvette. I've had this Corvette going on 5 years. So I actually have a lot of real-time experience with this intake system. And if it actually does feel any different, if I feel any increases in horsepower, torque, anything like that. So first things first, do I think it's worth the $300? Personally, no, I don't think so. I don't have any dyno sheets or dyno data to prove that I have any sort of power gain or power loss. It honestly feels exactly the same as stock. So you do get the intake noise, which I think it's kind of cool, whatever, but you could definitely get that intake noise, I feel like, by throwing in just the green filter or like a K&N filter like I have on the Rebel. As soon as I put a K&N filter on the Rebel, I definitely got the intake noise. I didn't have to do that by spending $300 on a cold air intake system. And I think the same kind of goes with this as well. And then secondly, that tension that it's showing right here, I don't like this at all, because when this thing is under load, the engine shifts. This is a big V8, or it's a small block V8, but it's a big engine. So you accelerate, it rocks a little bit, and I don't like this at all. It's actually starting to pull a little bit of the sensor apart. So that to me is a huge red flag. I know it. I've had it in here for 3 years and I've never really fixed it. So, let that speak for itself as well. It hasn't really done any harm, but at the same time, this isn't all too great. So, take it for what it's worth. It's never thrown any engine codes, nothing like that. It's been, easy to maintain. You could just pop that off and use a cleaning kit to clean that filter. So there's really nothing I can really say about that. It hasn't done any harm to the car, but in my opinion, it hasn't really done any good as well. Yes, you get the intake noise. It sounds kind of cool, especially under load. You get that really induction noise, so that's cool. But for $300, I think it could be spent better elsewhere. $300, you can go ahead and do an X pipe, which I have done on this car as well, which deletes the secondary cats, and that's gonna make 100 times better of a sound difference than just an intake. So if I was to redo this again, I would have saved the extra $300, just got a drop-in green filter, and just kept the original airbox. But again, that's just me. I don't have any dyno data to prove it, but just take it for what it's worth. So there you have it, guys. I know this is kind of a short video, random video. kind of going over my experience with the green performance cold air intake for the C7 Corvette. If you like this video, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get that subscriber count going. You know, I really appreciate that, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys would like to see some more of. I'll try my best to keep pumping out these videos for you, entertaining you guys. So with that being said, appreciate you guys watching it, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.